What's good, my fellow Magic Knights? It's your boy DEADMANVINCE back with another Black Clover mobile video. Hope everybody is doing well today. Hope everybody is surpassing their limits and becoming stronger. If you do enjoy these videos, and especially if you've enjoyed the videos lately that have come out, then please do go down below the video and Mario Leona thrash that like button. Also, if you could hit that subscription and hit the notification bell so that you can stay notified for every single time that I drop a video, you can come out and just get a little bit closer to unleashing your hostile mana, then it would be greatly appreciated. Today we're going to be doing a video more so talking about how I want to see certain things implemented into the game. So today specifically is going to be talking about a collab, right? So the collab that I'm going to be talking about is with Hungry Joker, and don't worry if you don't know what that is. I'm going to explain in a little bit, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and just hop right into the video. Basically, what I'm thinking is we could get a collab for Hungry Joker if we campaign for it, basically. And what do I mean by campaign for it? So gacha games, I feel like, are evolving in this day and age, and usually, even before it got to this point, if something is going on with your game and your community, your player base, you know, has an outrage or has an uproar or something like that, then usually that thing about the game gets changed eventually. So the developer companies, they see our YouTube videos, they hear the community, you know, they take the feedback into consideration, and Vic Gaming has already taken some feedback into consideration, like how we said we wanted to see more than just character trailers. Well, now we get character trailers that also have, you know, flashbacks implemented into them, so you can see some of the scenery from the game, because people were saying they wanted to see gameplay. So it's the little stuff like that, right? So what I want to try to start doing is just putting ideas that I think are pretty cool out on YouTube and seeing if they can get enough traction to where Vic Gaming looks at them and at least speaks on it or something to that, you know, something to that effect, right? But Hungry Joker is the first manga that Yuki Tsubata wrote. After a few weeks of serialization, it actually got dropped by Shonen due to low popularity. We know how that goes. But in the story, basically there are these artifacts and they're called Eureka. Eureka are artifacts that scientists have come in contact with, or maybe not even scientists, you know, scientists, philosophers, whatever, have come in contact with, and those things give the users special abilities. Now, the user does have to be compatible. There have been a lot of people who have tried to get their hands on these specific artifacts and actually have died from trying to interact with them, right? But to give example, the main character of the story, his name is Haiji. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Hungry Joker is just like Black Clover, but science. It seems like a very cool concept. I can see why, while I was reading it, I can see why it got dropped so early. It feels like the power scaling just didn't work out naturally. It just felt like everybody jumped up too high in power. But the concept itself was actually pretty interesting. But yeah, main character's name is Haiji, and he has Isaac Newton's apple. His only memories, 6 years ago, I believe, or from when he was 6, one of the two. His only memories are of the apple that he has, and a bunch of glowing corpses when he was a kid, and some shadowy figure that was like there. So that's all he knows. He's very vague on his own past. He's been discovering the apple, trying to figure out his past. Doing all his research though, he finds nothing about his past. And then one night, somebody comes and attacks him at his laboratory, but he doesn't know who it is just yet. He gets put in a situation where he is about to die, and he's like, well, if everybody because he had already figured out from his research that people were dying from eating the apple, blah, 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 right? So he thinks, well, if everybody's already dying from this apple and I'm about to die anyway, I might as well try to eat this apple and see what happens to me. So he takes a bite of the apple, the Isaac Newton apple, the same apple that hit Isaac Newton and had made him discover gravity, right? Or made him realize the concept of gravity, not discover gravity. You can't discover something that's always there. It's always there. And it gave him the ability to manipulate gravity. So this man could make himself like levitate, and he could pick up objects, you know, just with the thought. In the course of the story, he tries to go and find other Eureka users, but for experiments. But he does end up just meeting a bunch of other Eureka users, right? Throughout the course of that, though, he makes some new friends, makes some enemies. So the friends that he makes are called White Joker, and it's like an organization that is trying to find all of the Eureka and put it back in the hands of humans so that they can defend themselves against the enemy that are trying to kill all of the human race, right? Now, who are the enemies? The enemies are called the Mavro, and they're basically like a race of beings. I mean, it's a very short story, you know what I'm saying? It's only 23 chapters. If you have the time to read it, I would at least give it a read, especially if you're a Black Clover fan. I'll just give it a read. There's a lot of similar concepts. But basically the enemy is the Mavro, and the Mavro are compatible with the Eureka, and they're trying to take it, and they keep calling themselves gods. They're trying to take the Eurekas and just destroy the human race, basically. That's a quick kind of like synopsis of Hungry Joker. And you remember how I said the main character has like the gravity powers because he got Newton's apple. Now, the next question: how does Hungry Joker end up even coming in contact, communication with Black Clover, right? So here's how I have it, so that the cast of Hungry Joker would end up in the Black Clover mobile game, right? Let's say the Hungry Joker crew, and not even the crew, just Haiji, really, because Haiji has his little lab assistant. Her name is Chitose, but she gets a Eureka later on, but she's definitely not as integral to the first few fights. So I didn't really think that she would be like a character. She would be like a character that they maybe add, or maybe give you for free to play, or they maybe add on the second round, right? If they were doing it like Green Cross, and there was like a second round of like a second round of the collab, right? I feel like she'll be a character that comes later on because she literally got her powers later on in the story. But so what I have is Haiji and Chitose wash up on shore just like Yami did when he was a kid. The Wizard King detects like some magical presence in the kingdom on the shore of the beach, and he gives Yami the mission of going to check it out. So Yami gives the mission to Finral, Asta, and Noel. They go out to the beach and they find this man Haiji and Chitose chilling on the beach. They start asking questions because you know them, they're not gonna just start fighting somebody for no reason. They're gonna figure out what's going on first. Like, yo, what's going on? You look a little different. You look like you're not from here. Where are you from? Blah blah blah. He's like, oh, I'm from such and such, and I was doing a mission in my lab. And so basically I'm gonna have it so that he was messing with his gravity powers, and he took too many bites of the apple, and his gravity powers made him rip a hole in his dimension, and he ended up falling through and going to the Clover Kingdom, a different dimension, right? Asta and Finral and Noel talk to him, and they're just like, oh, blah blah blah, we can help you get home. Like, Finral has teleportation magic, blah blah blah. So basically, because there's one thing that in the manga for Hungry Joker, a lot of the time, two different Eureka users, when they were too weak, they would use their Eurekas in unison, I guess you could say, and it would make the effects much stronger. So what I was thinking was, this man Haiji uses his black hole shit, and then Finral uses his spatial magic, and they combine the two, and they help this man Haiji get back to where he's from. But they end up going through the portal with him, and while they're in the portal, just as soon as they come back from the portal, like the Mavro is like lurking outside of this man Haiji's lab, and they try to pull up, and they try to body this man Haiji, but the Black Bulls help Haiji, get out of the situation. Then White Joker, they still come and have the run-in with White Joker. Like, honestly, it could be like the regular story of Hungry Joker, but with Black Clover characters incorporated to it as well. So Asta, Noel, and Finral join Hungry Joker along with this man Haiji, and they meet all the other Eureka users, and then they go and try to defeat the Mavro, and they defeat the Mavro, right? And another thing that was implemented towards the end of Hungry Joker is that they realized this man Haiji, the main character, had special blood, and that they made this pill. They basically extracted blood from this man, made pills, and the other Mavro users that he had found would take the pill, and it would help them to unlock the true potential of their abilities. Because everybody else was regular humans, it turned out Haiji was a hybrid between a human and a Mavro, so he was highly compatible with the Eureka. Then the next thing that I wanted to talk about is, well, what would the characters kind of look like if they were brought into the game? And I kind of have breakdowns for them, right? So first we have this man Haiji. I named him Crazed Researcher Haiji because you know how in gacha games characters always have like some sort of like title. So this man would be Crazed Researcher Haiji, I'm sorry. He has Isaac Newton's apple, and then we already know Isaac Newton got hit in the head with the apple, and it made him start to think about, why did the apple fall down, not to the side, not upwards, and then he started kind of theorizing about gravity, right? So Haiji has Isaac Newton's apple that grants him the ability to manipulate gravity. He can make himself float, he can summon black holes, he can literally, this man bent light, just like that man Dante did when what's his name? Ghost tried to shoot him with a light beam, right, from the mirror magic. What I'm thinking is he could be a high damage output DPS, because that's kind of how he was. He was just running up on like everybody. Every time they was trying to fight, bro, he had some crazy ass attack lined up. He did not care. He was always ready. And he always went hard no matter the sacrifice to his body, because he was like, I'm a scientist. This is just research. I got to push myself to my limits. You know what I'm saying? Surpass my limits. He was very similar to Asta in that aspect. And then he could possibly have AoE attacks. I only say possibly because he didn't do too many AoE attacks, but he did more so focus on single targets at the same time. Then I thought what would be really cool is kind of like linking them to characters. So not linking them like Link skills, but links like a Fate Association link, like in Grand Cross, right? I had that this man, Haiji, could link with Asta, and their link would be called like Not Yet, because that's how they both are. They both like to continue to fight on, even though they've been defeated, or it looks like they've been defeated. Then I have him linking with Sally, the researcher from Black Clover, the crazy psycho scientist shawty from the Eye of the Midnight Sun. I have Sally because, and then I have it called Dedicated Researcher, because they're both scientists, and they're both just care about their experiments. They literally care about nothing else. Literally the same way that Sally walks up and asks if she can do experiments on Asta after she sees his anti-magic, this man Haiji walks up on another character and asks her if he can experiment on her body because he's so interested in her magic. Then the last character that I have him like linked up with is Julius, and their link will be called Magic Geek, because Julius always loves to see new magic, and this man Haiji, every time somebody else has a different Eureka that like he's never seen, he's always so interested with it. Then the next character that we have is a character that Haiji meets from White Joker. This is the first time he tries to go and find another Eureka, right? So Haiji gets the apple, or not gets the apple, he's always had the apple. Figures out that the apple has abilities to it, and he's thinking, okay, I want to start to find more Eureka, because then that'll probably start to open up my past more and give me more information. The first Eureka he tries to find is the hammer, Pythagoras hammer. So the hammer used to, or not the hammer used to create the Pythagorean theorem, but I'll explain in a second. Basically, he goes to a museum and tries to steal the artifact, tries to steal the Eureka, and then there's somebody already waiting, posted up, guarding the Eureka. The person guarding the Eureka, his name is Alan Blackman, and he is the user of that Eureka, right? So he has the Pythagorean hammer. Pythagoras discovered the foundations of musical tuning by listening to the sounds of 4 blacksmith hammers, and he noticed that some of them resonated together and some of them were not resonating together. So I think it was like 4 different hammers. 2 of them, whenever the blacksmith would bang them, the 2 would be banged at the same time, and you would hear them resonate together, and then some of them would not resonate together when they were banged at the same time, just because of the different like materials, I guess, right? Or not material, but just the different you know, the little split-second timings before and after you hit the hammer, right? So, Pythagorean hammer. Jeez, bro, tongue twisters. Pythagorean hammer allows the user to hit certain spots on his body and produce sound waves from his body. Now, this man, Alan, would probably have AoE because sound is omnidirectional, right? It goes in all directions. And he could possibly be a debuff character. Like, people could hear the sound and lose like crit chance or lose focus or something like that. And then his links would be Yami, because he looks sort of like Yami mixed with Yuno. That's the kind of vibe he gives me when I look at him. But his links would be Yami, and the first thing would be don't judge a book by its cover or something like that, right? Because Yami, everybody thinks that Yami is just like this savage, this menace, blah 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 blah. But Yami's actually a really chill dude that actually just cares about his like guild members, and then also Charlotte be assuming things about this man Yami, when Yami's looked at Charlotte multiple times and said, yo, there you go, breaking my little heart, you scared of me or something, blah blah blah. So Yami has like soft sides to himself, and the reason why that would work so well with this man Alan is because Alan, everybody thinks that he's like this tough guy on the outside, and he says stuff makes people think that he's like some sort of like, not delinquent, but just some hard ass, some badass, right? But deep down on the inside, that man Alan is actually just a wimp. Like, he'd be super scared of everything that he's like in, right? Somebody will do something while they're fighting, he'd be like, oh my god, like, how am I supposed to fight against this person? There's no way. He'll start doubting himself in his mind. Then he'll kind of like snap back to reality, start fighting again. And then another person that I had him kind of like linked up with is Yuno, and I had their link called Cool and Collected, because both of them always look like that to everybody else. Plus this man This man likes to put on his headphones. I know Yuno doesn't wear headphones. They don't even have the headphones in Black Clover, but this man puts on his headphones and he just doesn't like loud noises. He does not like to be irritated by other people. So that kind of reminds me of Yuno, how he's all cool and collected and kind of keeps to himself because he does not want to be bothered with other people. Then the next character that I have them adding, her name is Vivian Blanchard. Now, the artifact that she has is called the Sumerian Ruby. Now, what is that referencing? Thought to be the world's first alloy, it was found by the Sumerians, and it was like a ruby that helped them to make the first, like, craft the first objects made out of bronze, right? But the Sumerian ruby does not allow Vivian to control, like, it's not like a ruby that she has, like, physically. Pretty much the ruby merged with her body, and the ruby allows her to manipulate metalloids or metal, because the ruby was found, you know, was found in the Sumerian era or Sumerian civilization, and they used it to make more alloys later on down the road. So she can control metal in general. She can make herself like metal battle armor, just like Noel's Valkyrie armor, just like Asier Silva's like battle armor, right? But I'm thinking that she would have high single target DPS because the other two characters that I just kind of explained, they have magic that kind of moves out in like waves that they can shoot off. She has more of a physical type of magic, so I think that they would have her more focused on high single target DPS damage, but she would also have really good defensive capabilities because she can make that armor for herself. So she could probably have like a buff on herself where she boosts her defense to a point, and like, you know, there's a chance that enemies don't even do damage to her, right? Then her links would be Noel, the link with Noel would be called Hidden Affection, because the same way that I was talking about this man Haiji asking if he could experiment on somebody's body, it was Vivian, right? Because Vivian does not like the Sumerian ruby because it makes her feel like she's ugly. She used to be like this, I think like pageant, like model, whatever. And she gets the Sumerian ruby, if it finds her, and it kind of attaches itself to her. And now she can produce all these like spikes from her body, and her family like, shuns her. They're just like, oh, you freak, you monster, blah, blah, blah. I don't want anything to do with her. So she's like, I used to live a good life, and now I have to go fight monsters, and this ruby took it all away from me. And she hates the ruby because it makes her ugly, her opinion of what is ugly, right? So she uses her magic for the first time. And it was really funny too, because it was Haiji and her together, and Haiji gets caught by the enemy, and she's like, oh no, I gotta save this man. She starts using her magic on one of the enemies, and then after she uses her, or not her magic, but her Eureka. After she uses her Eureka, this man Haiji literally like frees himself, or while she was using her Eureka, Haiji saved himself, and he's literally like looking at her, and he's like, oh damn, your Eureka is crazy. And then she's just like, what, you tricked me? He's like, yeah, I just wanted to see how your shit worked. And then he was just like, but nah, your power is beautiful though. And you see her like blush, and the way that she blushes and reacts to this man is literally the exact same way that Asta reacts to, or Noel reacts to Asta every single time he says something that's low-key like smooth, but she wasn't expecting it. Then she would also have a link with Asier, and I call it Queen of the Battlefield, because Vivian Blanchard, like, don't get me wrong, she's a bit ditzy, especially with the acting like a Noel and the whole Asta aspect, right? But she was still like very strong, like a very strong fighter. Like every time that you saw her fight in the manga, like, which was again very short, only 23 chapters, but every time that we saw her fight, she looked like she wasn't struggling at all, to be honest. So I had her linked up with Asier Silva, and I called it Queen of the Battlefield, because they both have like the Valkyrie armor, and they both be skating around and, you know, just bodying motherfuckers with their metal armor. I just thought it was like a cool concept, right? Then the last person that we have to add in is confined recluse Nils Lees. These names I don't know, bro. His name is Nilslees. Nils Lees. He has the Huronian Eulapile. Now, I know what you're wondering. What in the hell is a Eulapile? Basically, it's a ball with two 90-degree like pipes sticking out of it, and it's like a steam turbine. And when steam is produced from it, because there's like it's connected to like these two pieces, and I'm gonna put a picture of it so you guys can see exactly what it is. But there's like a picture of these two pieces that connect to the ball itself. Then there's two more pieces that stick out at like a 90-degree angle. That's where the steam is released, right? And it causes it to spin whenever there's enough steam built up in it. And the way that works is the two tubes on the other side are connected to like a little plate with water in it, and then you put fire under that, and it cooks or not cooks it, but it makes the water boil, and then the water turns into steam, and then it shoots out of the Eula pile and it makes it spin like a turbine, right? And they use this. They use this for early trying to figure out how to utilize wind towards energy. So this is like very early on. And the dude who discovered his name is Heron of Alexandria, right? So that's why it's called the Heronian Eulapile. But this allows him to manipulate steam. He can make mist, and he can also make like. So he received this Eureka from his grandmother because it's been passed down through his family. His grandmother literally died, and when she died, she used the Eulapile to make a maze to trap this evil guy inside of the maze. The guy who killed her trapped the evil guy inside of the maze, and the guy could not get out of the maze. The maze would consistently like grow and switch paths and all that, and he could not get out. Then she even made like minotaurs made out of mist to walk around the maze and kick people out if they try to come into the maze. So, with this, I said that this man could be like a debuff unit or a damage over time unit. Now, yes, he can make like hard steam constructs and battle directly, but I just think with steam, it'd be cooler if he had like some type of debuff, like poison type effect or something like that. And then his links would be with Henry. I don't remember Henry's last name from Black Clover, but Henry is basically the guy who's like in the Black Bull hideout, and he was in the Black Bull hideout when Yami found it, and he pretty much became a Black Bull, and Yami was like, yo, let us use your hideout, you can be a Black Bull, bro. That's the guy who talks like super slow. Henry Legolant, I think his name is, but he talks like super slow. Their link would be shut-ins because they're just trapped in the house type of deal, right? And Henry was trapped in the house because he was bedridden. This man Nils was trapped in the house because his grandmother left, and he was waiting on his grandmother to come back, and he did not leave yet because he was awaiting her return. But he was waiting a super long time. Didn't realize his grandma was dead. Then the other person that I have this man Nils linking with is Lotus, and Lotus is literally the guy from the dungeon arc in Black Clover. When the same time they first met Mars, Lotus was there too. He was fighting Luck. So Lotus has like the smoke magic, and I know that smoke and steam are not the same thing, but I just kind of call them like hidden in smoke because they can produce some form of smoke screen, right? But that's all I had, you know, just like a synopsis for it, how it could be incorporated and what kind of characters they would implement into the game, right? Or what kind of characters would be in the game off of that collaboration immediately. And another little caveat is towards the end of Hungry Joker, they actually, like I said, they used the Hungry Joker pill from Haiji's blood and gave it to the other guys. So by the end of the little collab storyline, they could make all of them like cracked like that, right? And give them like little costumes. And all I'm saying is like, yes, this is very far off. There's a high chance that they do not do this. It's like a 99% chance that they do not do this, right? But I'm just saying, man, if you're making a gacha game and you're making it on Black Clover, bro, you might as well utilize all the material that is present to you and try to make the best game that you can make it. And yes, I understand that Hungry Joker is like an old, it's nothing to do with Black Clover, but even still, you can see some inklings of Black Clover within Hungry Joker. I feel like you should try to use whatever material you can to like advance the game and expand the game. But that's all I got for it today, guys. I'm gonna be making another video about another collab that I would like to see happen, but you just gotta stay tuned for that, and you gotta find out. This is all copium, of course. This is not something that they're actually doing. I just wanna end off by saying that. Like, there's nowhere in the makings did Vic Gaming say that they were doing this. I just kind of am trying to put this idea into the atmosphere because I would love to see them do this, and I feel like there's a lot of people who are of the same mindset as me, and if you're not of the same mindset as me, that's cool. Leave a comment down below and let me know why you're not of the same mindset. And while you're leaving comments down below, if you could also, Mary Leona, thrash that like button. And if you can go ahead and hit the subscription bell, hit the notification bell so that you can get notified every single time I drop a video and unleash your hostile mana. That would be greatly appreciated. That's gonna be your boy DEADMANVINCE heading out here, bro. You guys have a good one. You guys surpass your limits. You guys be the best you can be. Peace.